Cindy Harper, one day Rich came in and he said, I'm going to K. And Cindy Harper ran off.
History there.
I said, you don't know what the K is. I wasn't even born in K. I was 9 when the K is.
Ready?
Let's go.
Whatever that is, you got.
Good morning. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the March 28, 2024 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year. Joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning.
Good morning.
We also have our county clerk, Miss Cindy Beck,
Good morning.
and our county councilor, Rich Eckert.
There were two fingers there.
Just checking.
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
I was just making sure I had two agendas. I was making sure that there was not one that was right or wrong. Okay.
our first item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are a number of items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion or are there any questions?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. Item A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning, we have vouchers totaling $2,554,046.46. And a couple of items to note under there, facilities maintenance, $664,773.03 to Cine Companies for the renovations of the courthouse. That is 75% complete through February. And then under sewer districts, $339,260.03 to MCON is for improvements to the Sherwood wastewater treatment system pump station. I don't have any questions about any of this, and I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, correction orders. I think we have a couple of sets of correction orders again.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, bond council. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2024-22, declaring the necessity and advisability to create Sterling Chase subdivision number 5 street benefit district phase 1, authorize the construction of streets therein, and to assess all costs of the construction and installation of the improvements against the lots benefited thereby.
Good morning, Bob Perry. Chuck Doltmeyer and John Rolandhagen, who comprise the principals of Doltmeyer Rolandhagen LLC, would like to create a street benefit district in Sterling Chase subdivision number 5, which is north of town. It's right off of the Beaumont Street exit off of, Button Road. And it will affect, it will allow actually them to have street access for 31 lots. And they propose to assess the cost for the streets equally amongst each lot of the 31 lots.
Any questions?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you, Bob. Our next item.
Item C, register of deeds. Number 1, consider approval of payment of various items from the Land Records Fund in the amount of $226,557.
Good morning, Commissioners. Becky Neosy, Register of Deeds. As you know, the Register of Deeds has a technology fund, and when there are excess funds, they can be transferred to be used by other offices. We call that the Land Records Fund, and we have a committee that approves those. So I have a full list in your packet. The appraiser's office / mapping department, planning department, weed department have all put in requests and been approved. These are for equipment or technological services related to the land or property records filed or maintained by the county. So most of these will be for 2025. Some of them are for 2024. That way departments can plan for their budgets.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, and I'd also like to thank the committee for
Yes.
their input.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Item D, County Counselor, number 1, first reading, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution 2024-2 to establish rules and regulations for the Stormont Valley Event Center.
Morning, Commissioners. Kyle Edelman with the County Counselor's Office. As the clerk said, this is the first reading for this home rule resolution. Just to remind the Commissioners, we are currently in the process of doing a code recodification, and so as part of that, we are cleaning up some of the rules and regulations for the Stormont Valley Event Center. And this is at least the first draft or first end product of that. Yesterday, it was brought to our attention by the Extension Office that part of this may inadvertently affect them and the fair. So we're gonna go back to the drawing board and make sure that we don't impact their operations and their day-to-day operations, as well as, I think one of the resolutions listed on there reserves certain dates for the fair to operate during the year. That was obviously unintentional, so we'll remove that or tweak it a bit so that they still have dates to operate for the fair. My hope would be that in a couple weeks we'll be presenting this for another first read. Because obviously we need to make sure the Extension Office and the fair can continue to do what they need to do.
So that it would be your intent then to have what we have here modified and then have a second first reading?
I think,
I think we call it a second reading.
reading.
All right.
second read.
Just, I was, when he said another first reading, I was just throwing a little bit there. So when we tweak it, then we would have the second reading.
I guess, yeah, I would defer to
Right.
Rich and you guys. I'm not familiar with exactly all of the
The,
operations.
the requirement to have a first reading for all home rule resolutions is not a statutory requirement. It's a self-imposed. We have decided years and years ago that we would have first readings for home rules because home rules are a unique resolution. They're a governing resolution as opposed to some of our ordinary resolutions. So we decided in the past that we would have first readings on home rules for this very reason, right? So that way the public gets to look at it, everybody gets to look at it, and everybody gets more input than you do on an ordinary resolution. So while it looks like we may have missed something, this is actually working the way that it should work. The first reading is a check and balance in our system for home rules.
Okay.
Okay, so we can still modify everything after
Absolutely.
today?
Everything's on the table.
Okay.
Any other questions? Sorry.
Any questions for the counselor's office?
No, we don't need to vote on anything.
No, we do not.
No.
I do note that there are a number of individuals in the audience today, I presume, about this item. I know we have 2 people signed up to speak on this item. Rather than having you wait to public comment, which would be at the end of the meeting, which is what we would typically do, I thought we could go ahead and let you make your comments now so that we can, if you have no other business, or I don't want to push you out, but at the same time, if this is what you want to speak on, that you could address that issue now. I know that we have Larry Weiner, if you want to come and address. Madam Clerk, I'm just taking it a little bit out of order.
Where, you're the chairman, you can do whatever you want.
This may be
reason.
Within reason. Oh, thank you. I was gonna put that.
Thank you, Commissioners, for hearing our concerns. Yes, as was mentioned, we had a lot of, by eliminating the 1990-91, 1 and 2, which is 11-145 of the group, it eliminates the reserve dates for us, and sounds like that is going to be addressed. And you've got to understand our skepticism of the proposal that's being put forth. We were told 40 years ago when the old fairgrounds was torn down and they put up the expo center, no problems. You guys are going to have a fair every year. It's going to be the same as it was, only better. It hasn't happened that way. We've been fighting with the expo center in terms of how we have our fair. We have a dedicated group of volunteers that are looking to try to procure funds to put up a new fairgrounds on somewhere else, and we would like to discuss with you at a future date on possible locations of those, county ground. The other big concerns on this is a lot of the language that is eliminated has to do with the Expo Center Advisory Board. And I don't know if the intent is to eliminate the Expo Center Advisory Board and their overseeing of how it's ran, but that is a big concern as well. I know one incident we had last year, there was a scratch on the floor from a refrigerator. The Expo Center wanted to charge us for it. We took it to the Expo Center Advisory Board and they said, no, you're not gonna have to pay for that. That's very minor. So that's part of the concern also with this, what has been presented is, it looks, from what's been presented, all of the Expo Center Advisory Board language has been taken away. So that's also a concern for us.
Commissioners, can I say something right here? The advisory board has its own separate resolution that we just did a couple months ago. So it exists and it will continue to exist through its own resolution. And also on that scratch, do you remember who the board president was of the advisory board who fixed that matter? I was wondering if anybody can remember who.
It was you.
Oh, I thought that sounded familiar.
I wasn't at that meeting, so again, that's the big thing. Our big concern is the dates that we have for the fair and the ability to work with the Expo Center management staff. It is challenging.
And Larry, when the issue was brought up about what promises were made 40 years ago, I know that in trying to do my own research, I can't find anything that was actually written down, and the people that would have been there, unfortunately, have passed on or aren't available to give us the insight. And so if you have, or if the Fair Board has any documentations that would eliminate, we're always looking just to fill in the blanks.
Dustin, I believe you
So-
found some stuff.
But if you have anything, if you could send it to the commission, that would be great. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
And then also, Ashley, you wanted to,
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Ashley Mingarelli. Excuse me. I'm here today as a 4-H parent. I am also a Fair Board member, so I wear multiple hats. My concern with this resolution is the county fair is built around community, and community events are built around food. And in this documentation, it eliminates our ability as the Fair Board and 4-Hers to have these food events at our event, which brings people to our fair. From a 4-H standpoint, though, as a parent, my kids are in 4-H. They are in the foods projects. They are very active. Our club is actually we are the club that's in charge of the pancake feed, which has been a tradition over 50 years at the fair. With this, unable to have, the current language would not allow us to have our pancake feed at the fair. It also eliminates their ability to sell their fair projects, which helps provide the prizes and opportunities for other events to happen with food opportunities through these funds that are raised through that. We also have a 4-H concession stand that is run by the 4-Hers, which is fundraiser for the kids. I think at a 4-H county fair, these are important things. It's giving back to the 4-H program. It's giving back to our 4-H county program, which allows our kids to go to camps, which allows our kids to have opportunities to go to trips like our kids are going to Delaware this year. It helps fundraise and allows our events council to provide opportunities for our 4-Hers within the county, the state level, and the national level. I think it has been difficult working with the expo, even though it says it's up to the management to decide what's allowed. I don't think if it's black and white that we will be allowed to have those events. Last year we put on a pancake feed with 0 kitchen access because it was up to them to allow us. We had to rent refrigerators for over $1,000 or $4,000, and I had to clean them because they weren't clean to us. So their allowances for what we're allowed to have and make these events successful has been very limited and very frustrating. Me as a dietitian found it very frustrating trying to make sure everything was food safe and happen those ways. Like I said, I really just feel like if we take these food aspects away from our county, from a standpoint from bringing people to the fair and allowing opportunities for our kids to learn these life skills through 4-H, which the 4-H program is designed to do, is teach our kids life skills. By eliminating these opportunities, we take a lot away from our 4-Hers.
Thank you. Those are definitely good comments to take into mind as we work through this. Are there any other individuals that hadn't signed up but want to speak on this first reading? Okay. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for bringing those things to our attention. I know that those will be taken into account when we look at the revisions. So, thank you. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item E, Department of Corrections, number 1. Request approval to accept the lowest responsive bid for repair of freezer in adult detention kitchen at a cost of $16,500 to be paid from contingency funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Phelps, Department of Corrections. This item is that we had an unexpected failure at one of our 2 freezers, large walk-in freezers, the adult detention kitchen, and it being unexpected, we did not budget specifically to take care of this item for fiscal '24. So we have, I worked with the financial auditor's office, Jennifer's office, and she said that it would be appropriate and funds were available in the contingency fund. So I'm asking to have this taken care of from that fund.
Okay. Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F, Public Works, number 1. Consider a request to award a bid to WCI Inc. of Paola, Kansas for a bridge replacement project on Northwest 78th Street over a tributary to Half Day Creek at a cost of $411,479.10, and authorize an execution of the construction contract C-123-2024 with the same entity. The construction will be paid by using funds from the county bridges portion of the 2017 to 2031 half-cent county sales tax program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Neaus, Director of Public Works. Yes, on March 13th, we received 3 bids. 2 of those bids was less than the engineer's estimate. The lowest bid was presented by WCI Incorporated of Paola, Kansas. It was a great bid at a great price, and I'm here before you asking you to approve this bid and then authorize and execute a contract for construction. This project, if you recall, was the project we'd originally scheduled for next year in our 5-year CIP, and we moved it up 1 year. So with that, I look forward to any questions that you might have.
Kurt, have we worked with WCI in the past?
Yes, we have. We worked with the WCI a couple years ago on Wilson Road up by the Jackson County line, and they did a great job. And the bridge that they're going to construct here is almost identical to the one they constructed 2 years ago.
Okay. Any other questions?
Kurt, is this a sign that perhaps construction costs are coming down a little bit?
It looks like they're stabilizing a little bit, which is great to see. Yes.
Question about the timeline on this project.
Oh, okay. Let's see, I have that here. Thank you for asking. We'll start work on April 22nd, and we'll finish by August 16th.
Okay.
Hey, Kurt, is this tributary somewhat close to Highway 75?
Yes, sir. It's,
Okay, I drive over that bridge all the time. There's a bronze plaque on that from the county commissioners of like 1917 or 20, whenever that thing was constructed. Is there a way we could grab that?
it might cost us a little bit, but I can sure talk to the contractor about that.
Just a small part of our history.
Yes.
Okay.
My crowbar.
I'll lend you one.
We
You
don't
get
want to
it.
damage
You
it.
get
So, all right.
We will, Rich will look into that.
It's rare to see those, because a lot of them have been pried off. There's,
Yeah.
if you look at those old bridges and you see a blank square, someone had pried it off, but that one's still there.
I think I heard Commissioner Rippon say he wants to put bronze plaques on all the bridges we make with his name on it.
I do.
Steel would be
You might
safer.
laugh, but we do that.
All right. Are there any other questions for Kurt, getting us back to business? I'll make a motion to approve the contract with WCI,
Second.
or I guess a request to award bid to WCI and contract. So motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Thank you, Kurt. Our next item.
Item G, Human Resources, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2024-23, authorizing step increases for 2024 for classified and unclassified employees paid pursuant to the classified pay plan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis, Director of Administrative Services. In order to maintain our wage plan for 2024, we're requesting approval for the following wage increases for the classified and unclassified permanent employees of Shawnee County. The resolution and included wage scales would provide for a 3% scale change plus 1-step increase where applicable for classified, exempt, and non-exempt unclassified employees. The attached pay plans would become effective the first pay period. That includes July 1st in 2024. The resolution also includes a classified corrections command wage scale and provides for a 1% scale change, a $6 an hour increase added to the base wage, plus a 1-step increase for DOC employees in the classifications of corrections line supervisor, correction unit supervisor, corrections division manager, and corrections deputy director. The resolution also provides for a 3% scale change and 1-step increase for classified sheriff's office employees in the classifications of lieutenant, captain, and major. All increases would be effective, again, the first pay period. That includes July 1st, 2024.
Okay.
I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Angela on this?
Commissioner, I have a
Yes.
question. Is the county ever going to address the employees that are at 20 years? Because I have got 5 of them in my office that are they only get they don't get any more, they can't go a step. So have they ever addressed maybe going to beyond it, or looking at putting them on a different range, or?
I think that's an issue that we would address as a longevity resolution to address. Is that what we've discussed? I know.
We have discussed that previously. We do have longevity for first responders at this time. So CWA members, FOP, as well as corrections DOC have longevity pay after step 20, and it's $100 per pay period.
Okay. So if that is a request, Ms. Beck, that you would like us to look into what the longevity would be for other employees at other departments?
Right. Well, I just know that it's been going on for a very long time, and the classifieds who are not, obviously the unions have covered theirs, and just the general classified employees have had this for quite a while. If it's possible,
Okay.
it would be great.
I guess we can look into that for sure. All right. Any other questions? All right. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Angela. Our next item.
Item H, Information Technology, number 1, consider approval of request to purchase and install a wireless backbone to the sheriff gun range through InAlert, contract C-124-2024, at a cost of $22,513.24, using state of Kansas contract pricing. It will be funded with the ARPA SLFRF funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology. This is a project to get a lot better connectivity at the sheriff gun range. Currently, the way they get to the internet and do any connection back to the county is they have a portable little Verizon MiFi. The speeds out there are pretty limited by that. What this would allow us to do is we would actually put a point-to-point wireless connection that would go from the gun range to one of the radio towers and relay back to the courthouse. It would give us, from the speeds they've been seeing, probably about a 10, if not more, speed increase over their existing connection. It also becomes private. It's something we have control over from end to end. We had initially looked at this project as a fiber between the gun range and the courthouse. When we started looking into that, There were some rock areas out in that area that we'd have to get through to get to the gun range, which was gonna make it very cost prohibitive. So we looked into this solution. It's about a tenth of what the fiber was gonna cost. The fiber was gonna be closer to the $200,000 project. So we've worked with Inalert to get this price put together. We might be back once this gets approved, because we are having to do some paperwork with the FAA to get approval to put this equipment in near Forbes Field. We've been in contact with Forbes Field. They support this, but do want the paperwork with the FAA. So you might see us back with that paperwork being filled out. But this is for the installation of the equipment and going up the tower to install it on the tower. That's part of the reason the installation seems really high, is they have to have a person climb a radio tower and attach the equipment to that radio tower.
Okay. And I would note this was approved previously in 2021 when this was going through the ARPA SLFR committee, so we're just following up on that.
Correct. This is the finalization of the purchasing. We went out, got different bidding, see what the pricing was. Like I said, we'd explored the fiber side, but that really quickly was becoming too cost prohibitive, so we looked at alternate solutions to meet the needs of the sheriffs at the gun range.
Any questions for Mark? Commissioner Mays?
I don't see in here, how much did we initially approve?
I believe the initial approval was about $200,000. I think it's $200,000, but I'm not 100% sure if it's that exactly.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll make a motion to approve. Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item I, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval of request to reclassify a vacant Range 12 Purchasing Specialist position to an Accountant 1 position, starting at Range 14. With approval, compensation starts at $65,813.67 annually, including benefits.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. Really, this is kind of an accumulation of a process that started last year during budget cycle, where we've had this vacant position, and we worked with Audit Finance to sort of evaluate what we needed to do with that, what would best fit our needs. And so that's what we're here to do today. We'd like to reclassify that purchasing position to an Accountant 1 and open that. And I think it would help us tremendously, especially now we've inherited a lot more transactions with now taking over the golf course operations. So we think now's the time to act with your approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item I2, consider approval of request to fill the vacant Marketing and Communications Supervisor, Parks and Recreation position PR 1148A at Step 3, Range 15, with approval compensation at $24.52 per hour, including benefits.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. So we had a good number of applicants for this position. This, of course, is filling Mike McLaughlin, who was our the former person in this position, so big shoes to fill. Sean Ziers is the gentleman's name that we'd like to offer this position to. Sean has a degree in communications from Illinois State University. He has an extensive history in broadcast journalism. He's done play-by-play for various hockey teams, including the Topeka Pilots when they were here in town. He's proficient in social media, actually writing blogs, producing commercials, conducting interviews. And on top of all of that, I think Sean will be a great fit for our department. I think he fits our culture, and he'll bring a lot of positivity and a lot of energy to the position. So we are asking that we were able to start him at Step 3. And with your approval, we'd like to offer him that and get him on board.
Questions?
No, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Tim. Our next item.
Item J, Health Department, number 1, approval for the Shawnee County Health Department to apply for the Kansas Department of Health and Environment aid to local grants for the state fiscal year 2025.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. About 2 weeks ago, we came before you at a work session and gave an overview and some detailed information about all of these grants. So it is a total of 8 grants that we are asking for permission to apply for, and it's just under $1.5 million. That I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Any deviation from what you presented previously?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion then to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item K, Commission number 1, appoint John Sutton to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Mr. Sutton, I believe, we have a little bit of information about him and what he does. He's a volunteer with the Kansas Children's Discovery Center, very active in the community, and I would make a motion to approve his appointment.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
We do have Fred Holroyd signed up to speak. If you would come to the podium.
Thank you. I am Fred Holroyd, and I appreciate you allowing me to speak to you this morning. I just want to bring your attention a matter of an abandoned cemetery. And the SBA cemetery has been abandoned for many years. There are, according to their headstones, 164 people buried in that cemetery. There could be more than that in unmarked graves. We just really have no way of knowing that. According to Kansas Statute 13-3106, Shawnee County is authorized to provide for the care of abandoned cemeteries. I would just simply like for the county to at least mow and clean up this cemetery, as well as perhaps provide some maintenance in the future. There's 164 people out there that just seem to have been forgotten, and I, for one, think it's a real shame.
And Fred, I know that you and I have spoken about this, and we've done some research on it in the past. This is an area that is close to or adjacent to Menninger Hill and north of the former WWW station, if I recall correctly.
That's correct.
Okay. And it is really unmarked at this point as to it even being a cemetery.
There you can see some metal posts where probably at one time there was either a fence or a gate or something. There are, I was out there last week and kind of uncovered some headstones and things, but I know there's 164 of them out there because I've got pictures of them.
And I think Commissioner Rippon, did you do some research into this as well, or?
Well, I had a few questions. Is that in city limits?
I think so,
It's
yeah.
kind of a question I had because I didn't know for sure.
I thought the state statute said that it would revert back to the nearest municipality, which could possibly be the city. I don't know.
Well, I'm not even sure where this is at, so,
Oh, it's Menninger Hill.
yeah, well,
did
It's,
some
it's,
search on it.
you know where Wildlife Park has their
Yes,
division? It's
yeah.
just south of there.
okay. Has my office looked at this? You said you've been,
Well, I think that we had your office look at it briefly, just as whether or not it was a immediate, does the county have the responsibility for it, and abandoned cemeteries, but I don't know where we ended up on that, so it may have
obviously,
been.
we took over a rather large functioning cemetery or ongoing cemetery over a decade ago, but this is the first I've heard about this. We'd be glad to take a look at this.
I just remember when I was with the city, Mount Auburn Cemetery disbanded, and I remember at that time, I think the state statute said nearest municipality, so the city took over that cemetery. And then there was another one,
And that's why the county took
Yeah.
West Lawn. It
Yeah.
was out in the county.
and then we had we call it the Ritchie Cemetery. I think the city picked it up, so.
And I don't know if you asked us or maybe your office asked, we've done some research. We've gone back and investigated did a title search on it and have maps and such that we can send over for you to look at, and, because I know Lori and I did it a couple months ago.
Commissioners, why don't we have a discussion on this in a couple of weeks?
Right.
Cindy and I can get together and.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you for bringing it back to our attention,
Yeah.
Fred. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Any other public comment this morning? Seeing none, our next item.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Any department head or, there we go.
Since I'm here. Candace Muirpool, Shawnee County Extension Office. I just wanted to do a save the date for the commissioners. April 23rd, we are bringing back From Farm to You, which is our program to teach second graders about where their food comes from. We have 720 second graders signed up to be there that day. We have 3 different sessions. They watch a little film about how wheat is harvested and milled, and then they go to Domer Arena to 10 stations where they learn more about fruits and vegetables, livestock, dairy, and get to see some livestock as well and touch some different agriculture type things. And commissioners, if you want to come and see all this happen, it's really fun. The planning, Grace and I, the planning's a little stressful, but when the day gets there, it's a lot of fun. And it'll be the first time we've had From Farm to You since 2019, so.
I know it, we've been there, I've been there in the past, and it's been a fun day.
Yeah.
And again, that date?
April 23rd. And the first group starts at 9:30, and the last group goes through at 12:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
you. Any other administrative communications this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis, Director of Administrative Services. On April 10th and October 3rd, we will have mobile mammography come back on site. They'll be at Evergy Plaza this time due to the construction at City Hall and at the courthouse. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Reyes?
Nothing from me.
Commissioner Rippon?
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
And I have nothing else.
Only thing I have to add is go Royals.
Royals.
All right, Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 7, executive session.
There is no need for an executive session today, so we are adjourned.